Hey, honey, what are we having for breakfast?
I don't know, eat a Pop-Tart or something.
Again? I hate Pop-Tarts. Ah! What are you?
You said you hate me.
But I don't hate you. I was just kidding. I mean, how can I prove it to you that I don't hate you?
I want you to eat me.
You want me to eat you?
Eat me.
Okay. I'll do it. Oh, yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah, eat my crusty butt.
What the f***? What's going on, Canes fans? One final game, huh? This is it. The last time we will watch the Miami Hurricanes take the field in 2024. As disappointing as it is, and trust me, it definitely is, to be playing in the Pop-Tarts Bowl instead of the playoffs, I'm going to try my best to still enjoy this game, and hopefully Miami can get their first bowl game win since 2016. These games might not mean as much as they used to, but it would absolutely be a big deal for the Canes to win it, because this would also be the first 11-win season since 2003, and it would be Mario Cristobal's first bowl game win as a head coach of the Miami Hurricanes. And by now, everyone knows that Cam Ward will be playing, but I think the bigger question here is for how long. And it might depend on the score. You know, that obviously could play a part, but will he end up playing all 4 quarters? Because you do have to be a little safe here. I applaud him for wanting to go out on a win, and he wants to give Miami a bowl game victory. But again, he does have his future to think about. Now, I do know that running back Damian Martinez is playing as well, but at the time of filming this video, there's not been confirmation if Xavier Restrepo will be playing or not. We already know in the wide receiver department that Isaiah Horton will not be playing because that dude hit the portal and committed to Alabama. So what's the deal with this Iowa State team? Because not many of us probably follow them super closely. We're talking about a team that went to the Big 12 championship game but got their booties beat. So should Canes fans be concerned about the Cyclones? Probably a little bit. Yeah, let's just be real. Miami's defense has struggled for the majority of the season, and Iowa State has 2 wide receivers that racked up over 1,000 yards this year. They have Higgins, who is a 6'4", big-bodied, contested catching machine, and they also have a solid deep threat, Jalen Noel, or Noel. I don't know. Noel. You guys know how I am with names. Their quarterback just played in his 3rd season where he threw for 3,235 yards, 22 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions. He also rushed for 7 touchdowns. And boy, does their defense create turnovers. They totaled 14 interceptions and 8 fumble recoveries this year. The big story, I think, going into this one is going to be Iowa State's defense versus Cam Ward. It's as simple as that. A few other things that you definitely want to keep an eye on is their experienced but inconsistent O-line. They have some tackling issues at linebacker. I think they actually have a linebacker who leads in missed tackles in the P4. I'm not going to name drop, but I probably should. And they also have a shutdown corner, Williams, who has been targeted 42 times, and he's only allowed 15 receptions. Now, as far as history goes between these two teams, well, there is none. This is going to be the first time that Miami and Iowa State have faced off. So, I mean, that's pretty cool, right? Miami has an opportunity here to own the series 1-0. So with that being said, let's take a look at some average stats so far this season for both squads. Now, coming into this matchup, Iowa State is averaging 30 points per game, Miami 44. Points allowed against them per game, the Cyclones 22, the Canes 24. Yards gained, Iowa State 416, Miami 538. And yards allowed against them per game, Iowa State 341, Miami 320. Next up is 3 keys to a victory, and I typically give 3 per team, but we are a little short on time because if you haven't noticed, I'm uploading this video probably on Thursday or Friday of game week, and I usually upload them on Tuesday or Wednesday of game week. But as many of you know, I had a kidney stone removal surgery. It went mostly okay, but I had some complications afterwards, and it took me out for like 2 weeks plus Christmas time. So we're trying to get this thing done and get it out here to the people. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm just going to give one very important one for each team. And kicking it off for Miami, I'm going to say that you have to lock down those 2 wide receivers, or at the very least, one of them. Take one of them out of the game. I'm not talking injury. I mean, just shut that dude down. And I know that this is asking a lot, again, given Miami's defense. I don't expect Miami's defense to come out on fire and look any different than they have all season, because why would they? But if they can't do that, man, at least get lots of pressure on the quarterback, so maybe we can force some bad throws. For Iowa State, honestly, I think that they need to keep Miami around their average points per game given up, which was, as we just saw a moment ago, 22. Because the majority of their wins, they kept opponents under that number or very close to it. I don't think that they're capable of doing that, especially with Cam Ward trying to come in and make a statement. So I'm going to say if they do want to win, they're going to have to try to keep Miami under 30, though. I think that's going to be a key number. Now, before I give my official pick and score prediction for this game, we should probably check in with my dog Max one final time for the 2024 season. All right, so what we're going to do, typically when I'm recording, Max sits on that couch right there in the studio, but he's not with me at the moment. So I'm going to call him in. We're mixing it up a little bit, and we're going to get his pick that way, whichever one he runs to first. And you guys get kind of an inside peek here. You can see there's a different treat this week. We've got some jerky treats, one treat in each. You know it's not rigged. Let's see if he's going to come in here. Max, hurry! If you listen, you might hear his pitter-patter. Come here, Max! Here he comes. Wow! Zero hesitation. Very confident in the bowl game decision with Miami getting the win. So as you can see here, the final tally for the regular season was me, Coop, at 10-2 with my picks, and Max at 7-5. Now, for the first time in history, I just noticed this the other day, I predicted all wins in the week-to-week previews for Miami. That had never happened before, and I've been doing this since 2017 and doing preview videos for every single game. Now, I picked 10-2 back in August in my full season prediction, but the week-to-week predictions are separate, right? Like, we've had an opportunity to watch the teams play some football each week. You factor in injuries and changes and other things. And even with Miami's terrible defense, I still thought that they had a chance to win just about every game once we broke it down. And obviously they did. They could have and should have beat Georgia Tech and Syracuse. They were right there. But anyways, it's time to move on to the bowl game because we can't change the past. Let's go ahead and take a look at the ESPN matchup predictor before I give my pick. They give Miami a 68.7% chance of winning and Iowa State 31.4%. If you can't tell, I'm still a little bit bitter about the whole thing. If we jump over and take a look at FanDuel, they have Miami listed as a 3.5-point favorite with the over-under coming in at 55.5 points. So with all of that being said, the final score prediction of the season for Miami. I've got the Canes putting up 34. I hope I don't regret this. And Iowa State putting up 30. That is a 4-point victory for the Miami Hurricanes. And if you want to know how confident I am in this, not at all. I think that this could actually be a coin flip. And it's because, hey, I don't trust the defense. Let's be real. It's hard to trust Miami. It's hard to trust Mario Cristobal. And it's hard to trust this defense going into this bowl game because history says that Miami loses this game. They typically cannot get up for bowl games, but I want to believe that this Miami team, at least on the offensive side of the ball, wants to prove that they should have been in the playoffs. So I think that they might try to prove a point. The fact that Martinez is going to play, Ward is going to play. There really aren't a ton of opt-outs minus the guys who hit the portal. But to be fair, the same can be said for Iowa State. They had some guys hit the portal, but I don't think, at least at the time of filming this, they don't have any official opt-outs. And they also got embarrassed in the Big 12 championship game where they lost to Arizona State 45-19. So they don't want to go out with that being their last memory of the 2024 season. But again, on the other side, Miami can say the same thing. Losing their final game, losing 2 of the last 3, they want to go out winners. Now, I will say one other fact to plug in here, even though it's kind of unrelated. It is, but it isn't. You want to know when Iowa State won their last bowl game? It was 2020 against Oregon, which at the time was coached by Mario Cristobal. So there's just some things that get in my brain, man. I'm not a superstitious fan, but there's some things that kind of scare me a little bit. Obviously, I definitely believe that Miami's offense can hang. But, man, those pair of receivers for Iowa State, the fact that their quarterback can run when needed, man, it terrifies me. It does, and there's always distractions with bowl games. You know, it's an experience, and that's good for the players, I understand, but they go in there and, you know, they're going to the theme parks and they're doing all these events and stuff. Are they locked in? This is a very far away game for Iowa State. We're talking thousands of miles worth of travel. And for Miami, you just head up north. It's not necessarily that far. So there's so many factors playing into this one, but I'm going to lock in Miami. I'm going to say a close one, the 34-30. I think they go out on a win. First bowl game win since 2016. Mario Cristobal's first bowl game win as a Miami Hurricanes head coach. And I think that they walk out victorious. So let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Once again, my apologies for this video being very late. I had massive plans this week. We were going to try to do an Inside Insight show. We were going to do a simulated game for this. We were going to do a Coach Coop Plays simulated game for this. But sometimes, you know, health comes first. It's just something that I had to deal with. Then you throw Christmas into the mix. You know, I wanted to spend time with family and have, you know, go visit my nephews and take them their presents and stuff. So the year didn't really end the way that I wanted on the channel as far as output with content. But, I mean, we did some really, really big things this season. We made a ton of memories, and we have an opportunity here to come together as a family and watch one more Miami Hurricanes game, and hopefully they win it for us. Remember, though, guys, we're all one big happy college football family, but at the end of the day, I got to say, it's always better when you get to rep the U. Coach Coop, peace out. I'll see y'all in the next one.